because I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to be tuning into this. Like this, is that on? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sure a lot of folks are going to be tuning into this wanting to know, what about Mage 20?
Yeah.
So, okay. What about Mage 20? What would you like to know about, or either of you like to know about Mage 20? You mentioned earlier the inclusiveness. Yeah, one of the things, sorry, I asked you a question that I steamrolled.
Go.
To go back to that question from about 40 minutes ago. We didn't retcon a lot of stuff. There were a handful of things that I hand-waved some retcons on, just because there's some first editionisms, like the whole Trader Copernicus thing, and the whole using correspondence to conjure a taxi. No. You know, but as far as did I erase back history? No. They incorporated, and the things like the change of name to Akashiana, to Society of Ether, from Verbena to Verbene, and in the case of several in-progress some in-progress name transitions, Dream Speakers to Kavati, which is actually a name that they're called in the first Dream Speaker tradition as well. The transition Cult of Ecstasy back to Sahaya, because they're like, we're not being taken seriously as a cult. We're not taking ourselves seriously as a cult. Let's call ourselves something a little bit more serious, because our mission is serious and this shit needs to get done. So it's things like that. It's transitional. It's a transitional and an optional thing. The Society of Ether thing, the discussion on that goes back to the first edition tradition book too. And I figured in the 21st century, especially if you're dealing with the whole meta plot of the masters getting destroyed and things like that, there's no reason why a group of brilliant, innovative people would continue to call themselves by a Victorian name and shut out half to 3/4 of their membership by being Victorian stuck in their heads. That's not only sexist; it's completely counter to the spirit of the tradition, which is imaginative innovation. So that was a no-brainer. Although some people have been upset about it. Those people can still call them Sons of Ether if you like. I'm not.
Or you can fuck off.
One of the other things we did was we brought back the disparates. In Revised, there was this whole, there was this purge and all the crafts were destroyed and the survivors ran to the traditions or disappeared. I was like, no, they hid. If you use the metaplot at all, they hid. Why? Because they all come from marginalized cultures to begin with. Polynesians, Samoans, diaspora, Africans, African Americans. They didn't go, please save us from the evil technocracy, white man. They said, fuck you, we've played this game before. Okay, coast is clear.
Now, words. Okay, speak a language, brain. All right, English it is. Okay. With the Kickstarter, we're getting eight books out of Mage 20.
Something like that. I have the schedule. Yes, it's keeping me busy for years.
And the epic tome of 500,000 words.
Yeah, roughly that. That's what I cut it down to.
Now, in that, I assume we're going to see much more expanded sort of write-ups of the various traditions.
Actually, they had to be 2 pages. There's a reason for that, because Vampire and Werewolf 20th had the 2-page spreads on the various different groups. We stuck with the 2-page spreads. However, the traditions, boom, has a whole write-up before those 2-page spreads. The technocracy has a huge write-up. I think the technocracy section is like 22,000 words long. The 2-page spreads come at the end of these sections. The crafts, the disparates, the crafts, that section is 15,000. Actually, more than that. It's pretty good. The chapter 5, which is Chapter 5, The Awakened World, is gargantuan. It's about 100,000 words. And in that, we go, group, and here are the subgroups. Group, here are the subgroups. Group, here are the subgroups. And then the Fendi and the Marauders have huge write-ups too. They don't have 2-page spreads. I wanted, but we were just really blessed in page count at that point. So they're getting their own 2-page spreads later. In fact, as folks have probably heard, then the Fendi are getting their own book. And I'm writing it because I don't trust anyone else to.
I'm excited and queasy. I've always enjoyed I've enjoyed the idea of the Nefandi, I should say.
Oh, they're fucked.
I was
They're really scary. I aim to make them as scary as possible.
I think we've talked before about looking at Path of Screens and just going. I'll come back to that later.
Path of Screams is a book that makes you want to shower in Lysol for it.
So as I said, I'm excited and queasy. A book for the Fendi. So I've always loved the Technocracy, and I love the guide to the Technocracy when that first, and that instant, the core book is biased, and we're biased too, and we're not the bad guys. We are the good guys, whether you like it or not, is what we are.
It still stands as one of my favorite pieces of my writing. Was the "You're welcome." You're welcome. Yeah, we did this. We did it. You're welcome. No, we're not the bad guys. They're the bad guys. Do you want a world where a werewolf comes busting in? Didn't think so. You're welcome. No, I love doing that. Man, 15 years after that book comes out, it's still there was a huge argument on one of the major Facebook groups about the Technocracy right around the time of the end of the 20th anniversary Kickstarter, because there was this whole argument about whether or not they were villains, whether or not they could be humanized, and what humanized means. I'm like, fuck it, man, the Nazis were human. Pol Pot, they're human. Humanized doesn't mean nice. Heroic doesn't mean nice either. And the traditions are not nice. Would you want to live in their world? I wouldn't.
I was going to say, my old gaming group still, we still occasionally, at least once a year, there's still an argument over whether or not the Technocracy are the good guys.
They are. They are, and the traditions are.
Again, I think the best way I had ever heard it phrased was, they are the good guys whether you like it or not.
Yes. I always felt that the first edition, the first edition rulebook thing of, the evil soulless Technocracy, me and Brian Camp were like, no, smash. We took a wrecking ball to that pretty much immediately. Even the early books, where I was still kind of finding my feet as to how much I could do with them, was still like, no, you're not seeing the whole picture here. Yes, this is a horrible thing, but it's a necessary horrible thing. And by Sorcerer's Crusade, I was like, that's as valid a path as any other. And by Guide to the Technocracy, I was like, fuck you, Magic Boy, here.
So, I guess my question is, in the 20th anniversary, because the original core books always kind of took a very pro-tradition propaganda style.
It's neutral.
I was going to say, is it
20th is neutral?
Is it going to present a more as weird as this word sounds in a discussion of Mage, a more objective view?
Yeah. No, it's 20th anniversary is faction neutral. It doesn't say very nice things about the Nefandi and the Marauders, but there are reasons for that. But you can play a member of the Disparate, you can play a member of the Technocracy, you can play a tradition, you can play somebody who's not affiliated with any of those groups. All those options are equally valid. And there's a section in the storytelling chapter about how to run Chronicles for all of them.
I was going to say, in the introductory guide for Free RPG Day, the Cabal that's presented are all
they're on a line.
Yeah, they're on a line.
They don't belong to any faction, and they're very militantly going. In fact, there are two people. One is an ex-technocrat and one is an ex-traditionalist.
Yeah. I also love that, again, kind of getting back into pushing envelopes, social boundaries, and non-norms is the example Cabal, it's a bunch of homeless street kids.
Homeless street kids, one of them's transgender, yeah.
Yeah, and just, it really takes the idea of your traditional gaming party, even within the confines of Mage, which was a non-traditional gaming, party. And again, I felt like it kind of turned it on its ear and just said, no, yeah, you're burdened with, the power of sphere magic, but that's the only burden you have. You don't have a burden of a house, you have no other burden, you have no other advantages either, and it was, I don't know, I just felt like just that alone, in 6 pages presented a intriguing dichotomy that you don't see normally in a gaming book. Normally, I don't know, I feel like, here's your cleric, here's your mage, here's your fighter, and here's your goblin horde, go kill, This is like, get lunch.
Yeah. Here's panhandling. How do you use sphere magic to panhandle people?
And it created, I don't know, it created that kind of visceralness that I really had missed from things outside of the world of darkness, and then brought it back to, it's like our world, but it really sucks. Even your mighty wizard is homeless.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the visceral. The visceral is an important element. I feel like I feel like as Mage developer, the big thing that I brought to first edition Mage and did for 5 years was making it personal and making it passionate, and sometimes making it hurt. Because Mage First Edition has these wonderful metaphysical concepts that are all up here, and I wanted to take it from up here and grab here, and then grab here, and go, God damn it, this matters! And so that has always been my intention with Deliria and Power Chords as well as Mage, and it still is. And 20th anniversary again. Rich Thomas gave me almost complete creative freedom with it. So once again, I'm glad that you noticed it, and I'm glad that